Hey guys, Arma Shanks here, playing Arma 2, and this is an instructional video how to properly, accurately, and effectively fire a mortar. So, I would like to first off give thanks to Daltra. He is actually the one that provided me with the information and helped me out tremendously with how to figure out these processes. So, much thanks to Daltra, and Daltra, we're part of the 15th MEU servers, and if you guys don't know anything about the 15th MEU, feel free to check it out on YouTube. You can just check out some gameplay, but it's a lot of fun, and if you guys are interested, definitely think about joining on up and applying. So anyways, what I'd recommend that you grab in real life if you are a mortar team, definitely grab a notepad and a pen, as well as a calculator, because yes, you do have to do math, and it is vital that you write down all of the calculations and numbers that you have so you don't lose track of them. And holy shit, I thought he was about to hit the mountain. Sorry, I'm in a live server, so I apologize ahead of time. But okay, he's gone now. So you'll notice I'm by myself. Normally a mortar fire team consists of at least a few people, one doing, different tasks that you may delegate to one another. But I will just show you as a one-man team a step-by-step process so you can figure anything out for whatever position you might hold for a mortar team. But other than that, let's do this. So you'll notice in my inventory I do have it preloaded. This is what's important, this bottom row and then these. So right here at the bottom row I have a GPS. And these items, in my opinion, are the most useful ones. And the reason I say that is because sometimes people will rely on rangefinders to identify where they want to strike. Rangefinders, in my opinion, are kind of a pain because rangefinders require you to have a clear view on your target. A lot of times you're going to have mountains, trees, buildings, whatever the case may be, in your way, obstructing your vision. So it's very important that you have a GPS. That way you can locate things, um, as well as a map. But basically the GPS will allow you to locate yourself on a map, your grid coordinate. The map obviously allows you to see the map, so you can see where you're at. The map tools, it offers a new looking kind of compass thing that you use to measure and find mills and get direction of certain things. It's actually a very useful tool. The next thing you're going to need is the M224 range table. The range table basically allows you to figure out what charge to put on your mortar shell. Um, that way you don't shoot it too far or too close. And then the next thing that you're going to need is a compass to figure out your mills, based from your mortar. And then not last but not least, but the walkie-talkie I would highly recommend if there are other fire teams in the vicinity that you are on constant communication with them. That way there is no danger close. Um, and that way other fire teams can provide intel to allow you to locate enemies and take them down from a distance. If you didn't know, mortars can fire up to 3.5 kilometer or 3,500 meters. They're effective up to about 3 kilometers, so you want to keep it at about a maximum of about 3,000 meters. So just keep that in mind. Another thing you're going to want is binoculars if you're out during the day. That way, if you have visuals on your target, then you can take a look to see where your mortar strike is impacted. So other than that, that's what you should have on your person. And you'll notice I took a Humvee over here. I loaded it up with 2 components of the mortar that you're going to need. It's required. One thing to keep in mind before you start taking these out of the inventory, if you are wearing a backpack, make sure to take your backpack off and just put it in your vehicle or drop it or whatever, because the base plate and the M225 require backspace. So I'm going to throw this in my inventory. The first thing you want to grab is the M7 base plate. You notice that goes on my back. And I'm just going to find a spot to put it, because you'll notice my target, that little green arrow with the house over it. You can see it on my map. That is right where my target's at, and this is where I'm at. This is Shanks, right here. So I am headed roughly southeast. That's what it should look like normally, your compass on the map. And you can move it by pushing left click, push shift click, and you can move it like that if you need to. So let's get back to this. So what you're going to need to do, you have the base plate on your back, and I use Ace. Ace is a mod you can download from armaholic.com or Play with Six or Six Launcher. Basically, it adds more gizmos and gadgets to your interface, allows you to do more things. So I'm deploying the tripod using my self-interaction key, and you'll notice I can kind of walk around with it and kind of just put it where I want. You're going to want to make sure it's on a flat surface though, otherwise you may encounter some issues. But nonetheless, um, basically just put it down by not clicking. Don't click because you will fire. Use the scroll wheel and confirm deployment. It's going to take a second, and it's just going to throw it on your base plate, so then you can put your mortar barrel onto your base plate. And notice too when I was putting that down, I was trying to face, since my target's visible, I was trying to face toward my target. That way I don't have to do too much adjusting to my mortar. But I'll show you if need be, if you need to adjust it, how you can do that. So next thing you want to grab, make sure your back's still empty, the M225. This is your mortar barrel. You're going to want to go back to your base plate. This time you're going to want to use the interaction key. And for Ace, I actually have it set to the plus or equal sign. And then you're going to see this menu pop up. You're going to go to the CSW menu, and you're going to click on Mount Weapon, and this takes another second as well. So once this is mounted, you're going to see your mortar. Bam! There it is. Alright, cool. And you're going to notice too, I have it facing pretty close the way I want it. If you can tell the way my mortar is, I have it facing pretty close. It's not on, obviously, but if you have a big adjustment you need to make, like if it was facing like that way, just go over to it, use the scroll wheel, do shift mortar right, shift mortar left, and basically, like I'll show you an example, I want to shift it to the left just a hair. So my guy's going to get crouched down a little funky. You want to push shift S to walk slowly backwards, and my guy's going to wig out. So here I'm going to push it. He wigs out, and basically you see my mortar is kind of moving, and I'm going to have to move it back because I'm moving it way too far. But you just shift an S, and he moves it just like that. To get unlocked out of that position, you just push and hold, or just push C. But let me move it back real quick, just so I was just showing you an example. So I'm back on Shift S, walking it backwards, and we'll keep it like right there. And then I want to push C. And let's see, that looks pretty dang close. So we will get deadly accurate though once we figure out these calculations. So what you need to do, get as close as you can to your mortar as possible. That way, if your character icon pops up when it pops up on the map, your character is essentially where your mortar's at. So you're going to see on the map the 091024. That's my coordinates. My coordinates for my target. That is going to be right here. My target is going to be 093017. And so if you have pen and paper, once you get those coordinates, that's very important that you write those down. That way you can communicate with your team. So once that's all said and done, you found your coordinates. I would highly recommend you mark your target on the map by pushing shift click. That green arrow pops up, same with this dot. And it's important too because you'll see here in a sec. So what you want to do now is go back to your character. You want to hold H as in hotel and click on your character, but you want to make sure you're as zoomed in as possible for the most accurate reading. Your compass is going to pop up right in your face. You can zoom out to see what it's doing. Don't move it or anything, just leave it there. What you're going to do is you're going to pop over to your target. And say my target was underneath this white thing, like if it was one of those buildings, this little target thing would actually show up above, which is why I say it's important that you mark your target on the map. But nonetheless, it's visible here. What you want to do now is you want to push J and hold it and click right on your target. And you're going to notice that black line popped right up from the center to the target. That is going to give me my mills. And you're going to notice this white ring. These are your mills. It goes up to 6,400 mills. And you use these mills to pinpoint targets more accurately than the degrees. The degrees are in the interior. You're going to have a very bad time if you're using degrees because they're pretty inaccurate. And I'm sorry for the noises and things. I'm on a live server right now. But nonetheless, we are currently at, this is 28, this is 30, this is obviously 29. These are increments of 2, so it'd be 29.2, 29.4 is where we're going to be. So write down 2940 for your mills. It's very important you know your mills so you can line your mortar up exactly how you need it. This is just simply how to find out what mills you need to be at. So So once you're done with that, you're going to notice this little rectangle has kind of moved and it's flipped upside down. You'll notice the numbers are now upside down. This corner is usually over here, and the big side of the compass is usually on top. So you'll notice the compass is slightly upside down. What you're going to want to use though is this ruler that I have on the, well, it's technically on the right side of the compass, but it's the left side of my screen. You're going to want to drag the corner to the target. So drag it roughly there. You're going to want to zoom in. We can get very, very accurate. And you want to put this black line right as even as possible with that dot. And you'll notice this ruler edge, it's going to be exactly lined up with me, simply because I did the J click, and that moved the entire rectangle around the actual compass, so it gave me a proper angle. So what I'm measuring here is from here to my green dot on the map. And you'll notice that this is 2, this is 4, this is 3, 350, and this is roughly, I mean, it's probably 380. We're just going to round down, say 375 to make things simple. So what you want to do is you want to take that 375 that you get and times that by 2. That's going to give you roughly 750, and that unit is meters. So 750 meters is approximately your target distance. And once you're done with that, you don't need this compass as of right now. You're pretty much done with the compass. Of course, unless you need to make more adjustments, things like that. But the next thing that you want to do is you want to go into your, you want to be a gunner. So get into the gunner position of your mortar. Then you want to click your self-interaction key, and you want to go to range tables. And this is how you want to figure out your elevation. So there's 4 very important things. There's your coordinates, your mils, your distance, and the elevation. And the elevation is not like altitude. The elevation is simply the angle of your barrel, your mortar barrel. And so you're going to notice the screen popped up. This is actually very important because here you can select what type of weapon you're using. You're going to notice high explosives, white phosphorus, or illumination. And basically high explosives, self-explanatory. White phosphorus is like essentially burning gas, essentially. It burns people. Very good for infantry. And illumination is for flares if you're at night. But today we're just going to use the HE. And then these charges. Think of a charge as the power behind your mortar shell. So this charge 0 is the smallest, this charge 4 is the largest, and obviously the most powerful. Now on this chart too, let me go back to 0, make this simplified. So those 2 are taken care of. The 3 columns you want to pay attention to are range, elevation, and time of flight. Your range you're going to see in meters right here, goes to 1 to 400 meters on charge 0. And it will go up charge 1. See, it's minimum of 300 meters to 1400 meters, minimum of 400 meters to 2200 meters on charge 2, and so on. We're going to stick with charge 0 for the time being. You'll notice here though it only goes up to 400 meters. Well, we just measured out our distance and it came to be 750 meters. So if that's the case, you just want to increase that charge to the next one until you see that number. So we're going to go to charge 1. That's going to give me a meter range of 750 meters. But you're going to notice on here that my range does not show 750. So this is where some math will be involved. If it was 700, I would look at elevation. I would know exactly what elevation I need to be. It'd be 1340. We'd all be said and done. But I got to make things difficult. So in order to calculate 750 for my range, I need to take, in between, from 700 to 800, the elevation over here, I need to take 1340 minus 1298. So you take the larger number, you minus it from the smaller number, or you minus the smaller number from the larger number, and that's going to give you a total of approximately 42. And since it's 50, half of 100 is 50. So you want to divide it in half. So you want to take that 42, you want to divide it by 2, and that's going to give you 21. Then you want to take that 21 and you want to add it to the lowest number elevation that you took. So it would be the 1298. So 1298 plus 21, that is going to give you 8 plus 21 is approximately 1319. that is going to be your official elevation. And you'll notice that 19 number fits right in between this 1298 and this 1340 number. So very important. Elevation is vital. And I will explain this HE and the charges here in a second once we start preparing rounds. But that is to set your elevation, ladies and gentlemen. Now to exit out of here, you just click this X. You want to use the scroll wheel and go to View Site Unit. You're going to want to see your elevation is right here. It's at 1100. We just calculated that it's going to be 1319. So in order to change that, you use these elevation plus and minus. Shift click to use it in increments of 10. Don't shift click if you want to use increments of 1, make it more precise. So we're going to go up to 1319. Down to 20, letting go of shift. It'll take me down 1. You'll notice simultaneously when I did that, this level meter, this bubble went from the center all the way over here. Now imagine this little bubble meter as a carpenter tool, I guess, a leveler tool, where that little liquid jar thing, it's got to have the bubble in the middle. It's essentially the same kind of thing. So in order to adjust that, you have to actually use the up and down arrow keys on the keypad. And you'll notice this optic level starts to move. This optic level is completely irrelevant for what we're doing. We don't even need to mind that. So I'm holding down continuously. I've been doing it for 5 seconds. Oh, and there you go. You notice my level bubble moved. So I'm going to push up on the arrow, get it back. Okay, it's right in the center. That's exactly where you have to have it, or if this is not going to work for you. So elevation 1319, level right in the center. Once you're done with that, click level gun. This gun has been leveled. Alright, so awesome. We have the hard stuff knocked out of the park, guys. Next step is getting your mortar shells and putting the proper charges and fuses on them. So we're going to go to gear, and you're going to notice 3 60mm different shells, the high explosive illumination and the white phosphorus. I'm going to take 4 of the high explosive rounds. You can take as many as you want. And this next step is very important, because if you drop your shells, you're not going to be able to use them for your mortar. You have to use your self-interaction key to convert your mortar shells. And once you do that, you'll notice all my mortar shells were taken out of my inventory and put on the ground. And I don't know why you have to do that, but there's some ace conversion or something like that. But nonetheless, what you want to do is you have to prep these charges. And so to prep them, you want to use the interaction key. So that's my plus equals sign key. And you want to do prepare shell. And like we said earlier, we said we wanted a charge 1 because we used the range table to figure that out. So I want to charge this down to 1. And fuse, really, it's kind of up to you, whatever your target is. For this example, I'm just going to use impact burst. So once it hits the ground, it's going to blow up. And then from there, I want to prep my round. And you have to do this for every single round. But you're going to notice this black little thing right at the base. That's to signify that that is a prepped round. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do that for all of them. So I'm going to use the interaction key, prepare shell, charge down, prep round. Same thing for this one. Prepare shell, charge down, prep rounds. Of course, if you're having a higher charge, you need it at a higher charge, lower charge, lower charge. Charge down. And so they're all set to impact burst, charge 1 rounds. Awesome. So we have, oh, you know what? The only thing we didn't set on here, oh, maybe we did set it actually. Let me get in here. Let me check the mills. What did we say our mills were at? 2940? Yeah, okay, we're good on the mills. I thought we skipped that step. So let me go back here. Let me grab our mortar round. Use the interaction key. You want to carry. You're just going to put it in your hands. You're going to walk over here. Interaction key. Load gun. This is why I say it's very important that you have multiple people. You want someone loading and fusing, putting on charges on your rounds while you're making the calculations and while you're, firing the mortar rounds, while someone else watches your guys' back. They're the overwatch. So once again, guys, we are going for this house, or not that one, but this one right here. And that house, I'm going to unload a few rounds on there to try and put it down to the ground. So let's see how it goes. So hop in here. Hey, butterfly. Hop in as the gunner. and left click to fire. Fire! I'm going to get out. It's going to take a few seconds to hit the ground. Hence the time of flight column in your range table menu. Here's my binoculars. Zoom in, and let's watch it. See how accurate we are. Oh, see, look at that. We are no less than 10 meters away from that. We are probably no less than 5 meters away from that. So, as you can see, that mortar was pretty much a direct hit. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to completely pulverize that building. So this is great if you think an enemy, or say you see a few enemies go into a compound and you don't have eyes on them, and your fire team's pinned down or whatever, and they need an immediate mortar strike. You know, you take out that building, you've just taken out all the insurgents. So very useful, but I hope that my tutorial was not too long. I know there's a lot of steps, and I tried to explain it as simple as possible. But if you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you think I could use some improvement, feel free to just send me a message or leave a comment down below. But nonetheless, guys, good luck out in Arma. Check out the 15 servers. Other than that, this is Arma Shanks, and I am out. Thank you guys for watching my video, and y'all have a great night. I salute you guys.